Hi, welcome to Cocinando con los DeWitts. Today I'm gonna show you how to cook this delicious green salsa pork. They call it Chile Verde. And we're gonna add some cactus, and they're gonna be optional. If you don't want them, you can just skip them. But I like it with cactus, so it's gonna be so delicious. Remember that I also have the recipe on how to cook the perfect rice in my channel. Okay, so let's start. Okay, these are the ingredients that we're gonna need to make our carne de puerco en salsa verde or pork meat in green salsa. I bought these ribs. These are like the barbecue ribs that you usually see or buy at the restaurants. They're just cut in little pieces, smaller pieces, and some pork shoulder, or you can buy pork butt, whatever you like better, and just cut it in little squares like this. We're gonna make this chile verde with nopales too, cactus, and these are optional. If you don't want to add them, you can just do the meat, but I'm gonna add the cactus. I'm gonna clean them and I'm gonna slice it in little pieces. To make the salsa, we're gonna need 6 peppers, or if you like it spicier or less spicier, you just add less. I'm gonna add 3 jalapenos and 3 serranos, and I have 15 tomatillos. If you want more tomatillos, so it's not more spicy, you can add more or less. It's up to you. The spices that I'm gonna use to make my salsa are black pepper, and I have 8 and 8 cloves. Oregano, this is like around 1 spoon of oregano. Garlic, I use the minced garlic. You can use 3 cloves of garlic, and some oil to cook our meat. Okay, we're gonna start with the first step, which is to start cooking our meat. Okay, the next step is just to start adding the meat to our pan where we're gonna cook it. And get a pan that is big enough that you're gonna have room to move your meat around. So I'm gonna add all the meat to my pan. Okay, I added all my meat to the pan. Now we're gonna add some water to cook it. And if your meat is like this and it has a little bit of fat, just leave it there, because that's what we're gonna use to fry the meat a little bit more. And I had oil, but the oil is optional. If this has enough like fat to fry the meat, we're not gonna use the oil. And if it has like too much fat, then you can just remove it. But mine looks perfect, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, we're gonna add some water to it. Okay, we're just gonna add some water, and I just wanted to tell you that I had 2 pounds of the pork meat and 2 pounds of the pork ribs. So it's 4 pounds of meat right here. I'm just gonna add water until it covers the meat. Okay, I have it in the stove already, and I'm gonna have it in high heat until it starts boiling. I forgot to tell you that you can need to add some chicken bouillon or salt if you like, whichever one you prefer better. I'm gonna add chicken bouillon, and this is around 2 spoons of chicken bouillon. I'm gonna add 1 of the spoons right now, half of the chicken bouillon, and I'm going to add the other half when we make the salsa. We're gonna cover it with the lid so it starts boiling a little bit faster, and we're gonna just leave it there. Okay, it started to boil. It's boiling. I have it in high heat, and I am gonna let it stay there boiling in high heat until the water is completely gone, and that's gonna make the meat super soft and with such a good flavor. So I'm gonna leave it like this in high heat, and I'm just gonna come back to keep like mixing it, so make sure that everything cooks together. But I'm just gonna boil it until the water is completely gone. While the meat is cooking, I'm gonna start getting my tomatillos and my peppers ready for the salsa. So I'm just gonna remove the leaves from the tomatillos, and I'm gonna remove the stem from the peppers. And I'm just putting them here so I can wash them. Okay, I'm gonna continue with these and I'm gonna wash them. Okay guys, I have my tomatillos and my peppers. I washed them already once, but I'm gonna let them soak in a little bit of water a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna drain the water. And while I do that, I am going to start getting my cactus ready. Again, the cactus is optional. If you want to add it, if you want to skip it, it's fine. But I'm gonna adding cactus today. The trick that I use to clean the cactus is I like to put a plastic bag on the bottom of my cutting board, just any plastic bag that you have, and then put my cutting board and then start cleaning my cactus. You just do it like this and everything starts coming off. As you can see, in the stores they sell the cactus that is already clean and cut in pieces. If you can find that, just use that. It's easier just to make that. I just wanted to show you guys how I do it. And some people say that actually using a potato peeler, a peeler helps to clean the cactus faster, easier and better. So if you want to use that like for the sides, it works too. Okay, I'm gonna continue just cleaning my cactus. Okay, I'm done cleaning the cactus. I'm just gonna make sure that doesn't have any more of those needles, and then I'm gonna just put them on a plate and I'm gonna go wash them before I slice them. Okay, I'm done, and I like to use the plastic bag because as you can see, all the trash is staying here. All the little needles from the cactus stay in here. You can use gloves if you want. You can use tongs to hold the cactus, but I like to just do it like this. And I like to use the plastic bag because I can just clean everything like this. And then nothing stays on my counter. And I just get everything and I take it to the trash. Okay, the cactus is clean. I'm just gonna start slicing it. And this is the way I like to cut it, just in little lines, like this. And while we're doing this, remember that the meat is still cooking, it's boiling. And we're gonna go check on the meat in a minute. So I just cut my cactus in thin lines like this. Now I'm gonna just cut it in like 3 or 4 parts. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I did 4 cuts. And this is how it comes out, like pieces around this size. And I'm just gonna put it on my plate for right now. And I'm gonna finish cutting the other one. While we were cooking, getting the tomatillos, peppers, and cactus ready, the meat was cooking. And look, all the water is gone. It took around 10 minutes. And now I'm gonna still leave it there because now you can see the little oil came out from the fat. So I'm gonna let it fry to get this color in all of the meat. So we're gonna leave it there. I'm gonna lower the temperature to medium heat so my meat starts frying. It smells delicious. It smells like carnitas. Okay, let's drain the water from these peppers and let's start making the salsa because the meat is almost ready. It's smelling so good. I'm gonna chop the tomatillos in fourth and the peppers just so it's easier for the blender to blend it. You can cut it in any size or shape you want. We're just gonna blend it anyways. Okay, I have my peppers and tomatoes chopped and we're gonna start making the salsa. The first thing that we're gonna add to the blender is we're gonna blend this first, all the spices, the garlic, the cloves, the black pepper, and the oregano, and we're gonna start blending. We are going to blend the spices first, so we're just gonna add water until the blades are covered so they can blend. And we're gonna blend the spices first because that helps have all the spices completely blended, because if you add the peppers with the spices, usually the spices don't blend very good, or your salsa is too blend by the time you're done blending everything. Okay, let's start blending this. We are done blending the spices. Now we're gonna start adding the tomatoes and the tomatillos to our blender, and we're gonna blend everything together. I added all the peppers and tomatillos to my blender, and this is when I'm gonna add the other spoon of chicken bouillon that we had from before. And we're gonna start blending it, and we're gonna blend it not too blended, so it's not like completely blended, so it has some texture. Okay, we are done blending the salsa, and this is the texture that I like for my salsa. Smells so good with all the spices. I don't like it too blended. I like it like this, and it tastes so much better, I think, when you have some texture. Okay, while I was making the salsa, the meat was still cooking. It was frying a little bit more, as you can see in here. It's getting that delicious reddish color. Looks like carnitas, so delicious. Actually, you can eat it like this. It's ready if you don't want to add the salsa. And it's perfect to eat it like carnitas too. And I'm gonna actually take some out like this for my kids that don't eat spicy sauce before I add the salsa. So I'm gonna let it fry a little bit more. I have my cactus here ready, and I have the salsa ready. So delicious. Okay, I took out some of the meat for my kids that don't like spicy, and it looks delicious. I already tasted, and it tastes so good, like carnitas. As you can see, we have enough oil. We're not gonna add any oil. The fat that came out of the meat is perfect to fry the salsa. So we don't have to add any more oil. Now I'm gonna start adding the salsa to fry it with the meat. Okay guys, I'm gonna start adding all the salsa. It's gonna start frying with the oil that is in there. It smells and looks delicious. Now I'm just gonna start mixing all the salsa with the meat. And this is when I'm gonna start adding the cactus to my salsa. Okay guys, I added all the cactus and now I'm just mixing it. And I'm gonna let it sit here until it starts boiling. And then I'm gonna cover it with the lid to let it cook for around 10 minutes. Until everything is cooked. The cactus are gonna change colors to a darker green, and the salsa too when it's cooked. It's already starting to cook, so I'm just gonna let it sit until it starts boiling. Okay, it's boiling. I'm just gonna put the lid on, and I'm gonna put it in medium heat, and I'm gonna let it sit for around 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, our delicious green salsa, Chile Verde is ready. Just gonna let it boil a little bit more open so it thickens a little bit more, because I like it a little bit thicker. Delicious. If you notice, we didn't add a lot of water because the tomatillos have a lot of water when we were making the salsa. We just added water when we were blending the spices. So delicious. The colors of the cactus and the salsa changed to a little bit darker. So delicious. Okay, I'm gonna let it sit a little bit more. It's gonna be ready to serve, and I was cooking rice and beans at the same time, so everything is gonna be ready when this is done. While I was cooking this, I was cooking my rice and my beans, and that's what we're gonna have with this dish. Delicious. If you don't know how to make the rice, or if you want to learn how I make the rice, go to Cocinando con los Diwits and subscribe and ring the bell to follow all of recipes. And I already have the recipe for the Spanish rice, Mexican rice in there. It's ready and it's delicious. Smells delicious. I had to taste it, and I have everything else to go with it ready. So let's start making the plate. And our salsa verde is ready. Pork in salsa verde, chile verde with cactus is ready. Look how delicious it looks. And of course, we are going to have it with some delicious tortillas. It's ready, so delicious. Look at this plate. Tortillas, rice, and our delicious beans, and our delicious green salsa, pork, ribs, and meat with cactus. Again, the cactus are optional. If you want to add them, they add a delicious flavor to the green salsa carne. I also made these ones for my kids that they don't have meat. They don't have salsa because they don't really like spicy. And it's so delicious too. It tastes like carnitas, so that's another option. If somebody doesn't like spicy, you don't have to cook something different. Just take out the meat before you add the salsa. Delicious. Enjoy, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.